Call me fuego, 93 like me. Fire in the sheets, spending summers on the sea. Quedo, she throw away home. Bev Hill life on the day.
This is a little rough for anyone out towards the Milter side. Any towards the east, it could be a little bit of a longer stretch, so we might see some backup drops being dabbled with. And yes, the desk did highlight a couple of underperformers as well, a couple of teams, just a bit of a question mark. And I'm glad they highlighted Liquid because, look, as much as I am normally, you know, all for Liquid, and I want to see them do well, it has been a very, very quiet day, and highlighting, I think it's what, only 8 kills so far? I've seen them have games where one of those players has 8 kills. They are too good to be sitting average. That's just something I don't want to be seeing with these sort of teams. And yeah, you could say positioning and what have you, but I need to build a little bit more. I need that fire to be burning. Roll it back to the Liquid that terrifies the lobby. Show me a little bit of that phase magic that just, again, can destroy anyone in front of them. Imagine you throw into that Boomerang, convert that aggression in towards maybe executing late game, because we've seen them individually, just hyper powerful teams. Matcham, who do you want to start seeing maybe pick up the pace a little here?
Most notably, it was a good game, last game for GEN.G, but we haven't been seeing a lot of big GEN.G standout moments. And this circle. This circle,
Ooh.
so much water. We're making our way back down towards the peninsula to the south, most likely. Probably going to get a quarry game, Pansy?
You got Liquid on the move.
Ooh.
You've got Shoot to Kill, a Freak of Freaks, plenty of teams now. Bear in mind, Fury have been dug in here. They've got themselves well set up. Zenith have got Punich kind of as their outlook, their kind of scout to keep track of anyone coming past. Good spray, not enough to get the kill though. Does a fair crack of damage between them, but now look at this mass migration.
Fury with a solid defense instantly stops 2 of the members coming out from a Freak of Freaks. Zenith has their own trying to encroach over towards them. Liquid manages to roll through the gauntlet, runs the gambit, and gets into position. Now it's a very scattered fight across these different compounds. You can see Hanzia off towards the east. Then it's just getting a little bit more spattering. Ents opted into making a play over here as well. So Furia, while they got the opening knocks, they got the downs, there's just too many people that have crashed along their lines. With this, though, the western area is very, very open, and you can see a lot of the teams have opted into playing along these fields, trying to find dips and hoping the fact that that's going to get them far enough away from the fights and the roaming teams that are just stacked upon vehicles. There could be a couple of latecomers that are coming through this. FaZe and potentially Divine as well. FaZe looks like they could be rolling right along the same corridor that we've seen everybody trying to roll through, but after everybody is already set up in position.
I'm going to say Liquid made it to position. Their send went a lot better than most of the others. I mean, they did avoid Furia, which is probably the right choice, to be fair. Oh no, if FaZe go into this, they're turning in. They're going towards a Freak of Freaks' side. But yes, there is another being added, and Gustav gives himself up here, tries to pull in, but it's going to be Hanzia waiting, pushes out, tries to find this, dips out, he gets a dirty flush on Gustav. He's just taking names. There ain't no points to that. He's just being nasty. Now, Freak of Freaks do go down for the 16th place, and FaZe do take over. Now, they are living right alongside Furia, Ents, Daytrade, down 1 with a long old rotation, but I guess the south is pretty available in comparison to other areas. Liquid start to kind of show a little, you know, a little bit of ankle on display. Dirty girls that they are. Have a little look across. James is on walkabouts. He's just kind of keeping himself slightly separated from the others. Maybe a complementary angle has been acquired. But T1 on the receiving end here, they had a lot of pressure at the start. They seem to do well with that. But now they're receiving more, but this is from Zenith this time.
It's just the slow movement out around the bog can often be so detrimental to teams. You end up in your own little contained area. Punich tries to get away from those shots coming out from FaZe across the road in a good solid, I almost want to say, what, 600 meters or so? Good lineup onto that one to go ahead and get the down onto him, and that's going to be a very difficult res with T1's positioning. Can't really move into that. Everything that's going on in the compound that FaZe crashed has kind of calmed down. Ents, Furia, both content to let this one play through, but look, Pansy, with this shift in the circle, that means that Liquid is very centered up and in a very strong defendable position with all 4 members up.
Liquid fans, put the copium aside for a second. This could be it. This could be the time. But look who's coming. I'm seeing Sonics in the vehicles. The European destroyers are on the way. They've seen some EU happiness, and they're about to just take them down. Well, they're not yet, but they're getting closer. So let me get nervous for it. Zenith, though, trying to use any bit of cover. They've got too many angles now looking towards them. They've got Buriram with a bit of vision on the east of them. They've got T1 just north. And then even further than that, Tiamba, I guess. Oh, silhouetting at that point, Kickstart. That could have been scary. Gets towards Poonage. Might be able to get a res on that unless someone else pressures really quickly. LG Divine in the vehicles. They were pretty far towards the north. They're going to start sending it towards the south. Heading on through. Where do they pull up? This might be a bit of a crash as well. And they decide to go past T1. Okay, Jun gets the flush. A little bit of a spray. The drive-by, man. It is wild right now. And they're going to continue forward. It looks like they're going past the phase area. They might be pulling towards Liquid. Oh, God. Pray for Liquid right now. The pull-ups have been deadly. LG Divine, do they dip in? It looks like Turtle, JN, they're going for it. Here comes the drive-by. Clip's gone down. The nade comes out. Bit of a trade comes in. Liquid managed to stay alive for now. They've got the flush on 2. They need a little bit more. Levi's is still standing, as is Turtle. Ibby looks towards it. He's got a potential res that he might want to get towards Clip. Oh! Damn, Levi's just absolutely belts Mexi with a shot. James is there, finds Turtle, so it's now 1 left standing, and it looks like Tiggleton sends a little gift from Sonic saying, don't worry, boys, we'll be there soon. And now Zenith are in all kinds of trouble. They've got a artillery strike just on top of them, nades being lobbed down. And I'm still seeing Buriram very much in this. They're building towards late game. The flash is now coming in. This is the go signal. This is them going forward. An M200 just absolutely destroys them. Easy work for M200. But now Tiamba under pressure from Buriram. They're starting to see some of the vision on this already. ED's found Lorena. And actually, it's going to be Ensom phase starting to clash.
Nordra's positioning off of this had the potential to do a ton of damage, but it doesn't look like they want to firmly commit. With everything that happened inside that Zenith fight, it's just going to be Lin Shun that's playing back behind. Nordra might opt into committing to this, but remember that Buriram still has to move. Sonics is going to be just to the south of them and providing a little bit of harassment. This fight going on between FaZe and Ints looks like it's still going to continue for a little bit, and it's going to be Squeaky going for the peak, finally gets taken down. Narrowly surviving that one's going to be Ubo with just 2 members up. Finally winning out this firefight. Furia going down, Ints going down, and only 2 members of FaZe going to be walking away. Just to the south of that position is going to be Day Trade that could potentially provide some harassment back over towards FaZe. A lot of our stragglers towards the west now starting to creep in towards those flatlands. It's hazardous to say the least, but Buriram, they've got the probably hardest approach out of anybody right now as they have several teams that are already fortified and waiting for them to make a move.
Yeah, I'm looking at GEN.G already kind of establishing their escape plan from that compound. PO's already left. You've got Mime engaging towards Buriram. That's towards the east, so they might think better of opting to go that way if Sonics have a good position like this. But I don't know where Buriram goes to. Canaxi's going to have to hit some huge shots to kind of crack open some space. Down one Kia, finding DXG. That's a little way further towards the south. That was those flatlands you were discussing earlier. DXG kind of caught in that no-man land territory. Canaxi, though, looking to be the most accurate man on this circle. No real opportunities being given. Sonic's just kind of playing this ridgeline really nicely. No easy chances to pick him up, and they keep him 4 alive. Uber just hits Lin Shun, apparently. He's playing a different drive-by meta, and there's the first to fall already. You can see the rest of the team, though. Buriram in the vehicles. Fuzzface catching one of Tiamba on the way past. He needs another one, though. He's going to get it. Good work from Fuzz. Keeps himself cool under pressure, and another drive-by on the back of the buggy. Does someone count the drive-bys in this? I mean, hello? How many are we having today?
It's just what you got to do. You were talking about before, Pansy. Sometimes you just got to send it. And a lot of these teams are opting to send it with style. That was a very good play coming out from Zhang. We have to be careful because of the fact that it's going to be Day Trade that could have vision off that position. And yep, they're going to go ahead and get the shot towards him, get the knock onto him as well. So with this, are we going to see Liquid continuing to have favorable position? GEN.G still holding down the compound towards the south of it. And yes, Clib right in the center of everything. Day Trade also in a very strong position. And oddly enough, Pentalol, the last survivor for Shoot to Kill, comfortable in this spot as well. It's going to be towards the east and towards the south that have to move.
Again, favorites for me, still, I've got to look towards GEN.G. Probably pretty mad after that previous game. Kale, that's ambitious. But GEN.G are a team that have 4 alive now. It's this rotation path. It's this next step that's going to be the hardest part for them. Kale's an unknown quantity. Furia, a little bit of a problem as well. There's 2 of them there. They can still do some serious damage. But I'm looking towards the rest of the map. Sonics I want to throw into the mix. They've got 4 standing, well geared up. Not too many dangerous fights. A couple here and there, but they've mostly been the aggressors. They've been defining the fights. FaZe now get a new opponent coming their way. That's Buriram. Uber, still on the case. No worries to that. Canaxi, tagged up and thrown away. Shrimsy finds it. Sonic sending out gifts to EU teams everywhere. Now, the flush does come for Clib, so shows a little bit of presence. And Uber sweeps through God Meows. That's Buriram done. Down they go. FaZe control the north, but only with 2 of them. Sonics, I'd say, will shuffle in quite comfortably towards the east, but Liquid are on the other side of that swamp. The south side, I'd still say, is pretty unresolved here. My eyes are on GEN.G. How do they approach this? They've got a lot to deal with in front of them. They've now just heard Furia popping off. They'll know that they're on towards this area. Kale, I think Kale's dead, so he's out of the equation. It's just, what did GEN.G do in this approach? And Sonics are going south.
I apologize, guys. I missed the rotation with the last remaining members of Fury to get down into the southern position, but it's not going to be good for them. We got Rusty Zero and Raspu and a hazardous point. As you can see, GEN.G is now moving forward, but they have to be careful. Sonic's also trying to find an angle to play from this, and GEN.G is trying to scare them away, but not quite confident in it yet. Sonics now know the positioning for that and can counter move around it. Day Trade in a comfortable position on the other side of the road, just listening to all the firefights as they go. They're spread out all the way from the north to the south of that part of the circle. It's just going to be a matter of how do the fights towards the east break down. GEN.G has the high ground, spots out a lot of the movement that's going on, still has vehicles, still has utility, and does opt to move it just a little bit further forward. Looks like everybody from Furia right now is kind of having to hunker down and deal with a lot of long-range shots that are coming into play. So they really can't harass this just too much yet. But Raspu could potentially flank back around, maybe make an approach from the south, but it's going to be the continuing shots coming out from Day Trade that are going to deny any movement. So oddly enough, Day Trade kind of defending the position that GEN.G is holding.
Yeah, but the thing is, if Day Trade peak, they're gonna see Furia. It's just, do they do it? Do they feel bold enough? Is there anyone to maybe pressure them on the way back? I don't think there really is. Day Trade have walked away with a really good western position, unless maybe one of the extremities starts looking their way, like FaZe, for example, or maybe GEN.G sweep through. Keep in mind, Day Trade have half of this circle, kind of. Now, let's see the adjustment. Okay, a little towards the north here. So again, GEN.G under pressure. Day Trade can fold into this. They have Norins already in this spot. It's tricky to play with, and this might force an issue towards GEN.G. But Sonic's already going to post a couple of shots through and say, hey, not an easy rotation here, boys. Look elsewhere. But Sonics have their own troubles. If they try and get in towards a circle, they've got Liquid in their way. Whether or not you account that as a problem is up to you. FaZe are going to shuffle through from the north towards this as well. That east side, that swamp, could potentially have 3 or 4 teams now residing towards it.
This is going to be rough for a lot of these teams. Day Trade still continue to press in, should still have a little bit of a lip that they can play. We are seeing where that's going to be right now with Norins. So they've got a covered point that they can play from. Furia, GEN.G, Sonics, all going to have to move. FaZe could reposition, and then really just Fuzzface needs to creep forward just a few meters and should be able to get inside the safe zone. Liquid do have themselves that fortified wall that they've been playing against, and really Sonics could be the only team that could get vision depending on how they approach. That's why we're hearing near on no firefights right now. It's the hazardness of peeking. Whenever you try to go for some type of angle, see what's going on, you try to get any information, that's whenever you're going to have a ton of teams potentially taking shots at you. So you can see GEN.G trying to get that information. They've already got their smoke walls down, looks back over towards mine, gets the knock onto him, and this is going to be real rough for the last member of Sonics, as there's no clean path to approach from. And it looks like GEN.G just says, screw it, we're just going to go back over here. We already know that you're weak, and Tig's trying to hold the line up, but not going to be able to get anything out of it. GEN.G gets a nice, easy reposition onto it, and now the last remaining member for Furia caught up back behind those barrels and nowhere to go.
And while that happened, FaZe got a knock on Liquid. I don't know if they've got the res yet. It looks like they're on the case. But FaZe kind of forced down from north to south. They want to start building towards the center point on this. And FaZe have some very scary players alive. Uber and Fuzzface have been noted to go pretty big, but they are in such small numbers compared to everyone else in this lobby. And GEN.G keeping how many alive? 4. You got Day Trade, 4. Liquid, 3. And Liquid, sadly, are just being smothered in smoke, trying to keep himself safe from this bombardment coming their way. They're going to have GEN.G breathing down their neck, unless GEN.G goes for something mad with like a vehicle or something out of the ordinary. You can see Day Trade's Remainder trying to get, or not Remainder, one of the players that's pushed across the road, getting close towards GEN.G, trying to maybe be an insurance policy, but there goes Penta. We're down to our final 4. Big names in this. Liquid, FaZe, GEN.G. They are some heavy-hitting teams here, so expect a quality end to this. FaZe in the north. In the south, we have Liquid, GEN.G, and Day Trade. Day Trade have now put 3 players in this southern position. I feel like they're getting very close to maybe trying to deal with GEN.G. However, GEN.G have great vision on Liquid, and Liquid being kind of, everyone's eyes are being thrown towards them. Clib's looking vulnerable. Yeah, he's gone down. PO has the way better angle. That could be the go signal to push this. If you've got a flush like that, you've got to capitalize while you have the chance. Day Trader about to start pressuring you. You heard that nade just come in. You've got to push this.
You can see that the little bit of terrain ahead of this means the fact that it is too hard for Day Trade to find the angle into it. GEN.G is just rolling through this. Liquid gets eliminated so quickly off of that initial knock. Now just dropping us down to Day Trade, GEN.G, and FaZe towards the north. The problem with it is
they could be dead in the water, banking on the fight to begin between GEN.G and Day Trade. And if GEN.G overly focused towards FaZe, they could have a terrible surprise on their hands.
Uba FaZe trying to creep forward. Bananaca goes down. That's the hazardous point, and now FaZe could potentially find something, but they're so up against the wall right now, trying to creep forward. Can they get anything with it? It's going to be a shot that comes out from PO to get the drop onto FaZe. That means that FaZe now has 1 member up. GEN.G has to end this fight quickly because the longer it goes on, you can see that everybody up at the top of this. Day Trade is trying to find a new angle. Uba starting to come alive, knows PO's positioning, moving forward, but there's just too many angles, and now GEN.G knows where the next threat is. You can see the high ground where Day Trades is trying to play from. It's so difficult, but GEN.G is going to exploit it so fast. They roll up the hillside, starting to toss out smokes, starting to throw out utility. Poochoo's trying to find out if he can hold this side angle. Remember, numbers are firmly in the advantage of GEN.G as they're creeping up. It's been a quick exchange, though. 3-3 now up, and it's going to be another quick pickup coming up from GEN.G. They got denied last time, but it doesn't look like they're going to get denied this time. It's going to be Flash on the outskirts, playing along the smoke, seeing if he can make a play for it up against Esther. A quick peek through the smokes. Flash gets spotted out, and there she is. Finally, GEN.G takes her out.
Sure, after that previous game, the win just slipping through their fingertips, a couple of mistakes, they pulled it all together. And keep in mind, they had early fights with Damwon Kia in those longwoods. That circle shifted away from them, away from Quarry. They picked up a really good compound, kept their heads down, and moved in quietly. They did not have center circle. They worked for that one. They kept themselves in those 4 alive. Very well played in the end to GEN.G. And you've got to say as well, PO had a phenomenal game himself.